If every time you go to plan a trip, overwhelm and overthinking creep up on you, this video is for you. If all of the options, all of the moving pieces, all of the decisions, and all of the sites you think you have to use have you stuck in procrastination and avoidance, this video is for you. I'm going to be sharing the number one way that I use to take the out of overthinking and plan my trips with ease. The backstory. I want to join my best friend of 30 plus years in Bali for her 40th birthday. I also want to help her plan it because I am the travel coach in this relationship, but also, although she is very well traveled and could plan the trip herself, I want to make sure that this is a trip of a lifetime for her. However, I am juggling 1,000,005 things in my life right now, including a recent layoff, including, transitioning to being a full-time entrepreneur, including needing and looking for $50,000 to invest in the completion of a rehab of my first investment property. Okay. Needless to say, I have not the mental space or barely any time to really dive in and to plan this trip. And neither does she. And I have been feeling bad because the stress and the overwhelm and just like the frustration that we both have been feeling during this time, of wanting to go, but like really trying to figure out how to fit in the planning and make it happen is literally what I help people do for a living as a travel coach, right? But I found myself struggling to make it happen for me and her recently. Now, let me be clear. I am in no way immune to the things that you experience when you are planning a trip, right? I am no way immune. The same things that you experience are the same things that I experience quite often when I'm planning a trip for myself or for others. The difference is I have habits, I have tools, and most importantly, I have the mindset that helps me to get through all of those obstacles, get through all of those thoughts, get through all of my feelings, and make the trip happen. So as I was in the midst of all of the feelings and feeling overwhelmed and overthinking about this trip, I remembered what I use in order to get through those type of emotions. And the number one thing that I use is constraint. What does constraint mean? Constraint means restricting my options, restricting my decisions, and restricting the questions that I ask myself when it comes to planning this trip. This is the number one way to remove the over and overthinking and just get to thinking and making decisions and taking action, right? So the solution is only asking yourself 3 questions, right? Now, the thing about these questions are going to be the baseline for every decision you make, the things you're going to research, the things you're going to look for. They're going to be the rubric that you use in order to decide if it's a yes for something or if it's a no for something. So here are the 3 questions that I want you to use. And I wrote them down so that you can screenshot this and use it. The first question is, what do I want to feel on this trip, right? What do you want to feel? What are the emotions you want to feel on the trip and even after the trip? So, maybe you're going on, maybe it's a family reunion, right? You want to feel connected. You want to have adventure. You want to have fun, right? You want to be able to catch up with people. Or for instance, on this trip to Bali, right? She wants to feel peace. She wants to feel connected to her friends. She wants to feel spiritual, right? It's a new decade. It's a new birth into a new decade, right? Knowing these things will help you make decisions on what are the things you're going to do and what are the things you're not going to do, right? It'll help you make a decision on if certain experiences are going to be a yes or no. For instance, one of the things that I was looking up for her was things we want to do that align with the Eat, Pray, Love experience, right? So if you're familiar, there's a movie called Eat, Pray, Love with Julia Roberts played years ago. And in the movie, she did a couple of things. And this is something that my friend wanted to do. She wanted to experience it in the way that Julia Roberts did. So in thinking about it, like she wants to feel connected. She wants to feel spiritual. Like there's an activity that a lot of people do. They go to a monkey forest, right? So when I was trying to decide whether or not the monkey forest was going to be on the itinerary, I was like, do that feel spiritual? No. Is that going to bring her connection with herself, or is it going to bring her connection with the other people who are going? Not so much. In addition to the fact that we ain't really about that animal life, so it's a no, right? So knowing this allowed me to be like, nope. These aren't the things, right? The next question you want to ask is, what are my must-haves? Now, this is the good part, because if you can detail what are the must-haves of the trip, there are so many options of things you can do on a trip, right? With regard to experiences, there are so many different places that you could go and stay. There's Airbnbs, there's hostels, there's hotels. You could be at the penthouse suite. You could be, there's just so many options, right? And this is how people get overwhelmed. This is how you get overwhelmed. This is how you start overthinking about what to do and what to plan. So if you list out what are the must-haves. So the must-haves for our Bali trip are, 1, the dates, right? If the date is not a must-have for you, take it out, right? For her, the dates have to be at a certain time during the year. Another must-have is, like, she wants to stay in a hotel that is going to have a beautiful pool and is going to be a beautiful boutique kind of hotel, right? It doesn't have to be too fancy, but it needs to be something that's nice, because, honey, this is her 40th birthday and we need to take photos, right? These are some of the must-haves. The additional must-haves have to do with the way she wants to feel. So she wants to do an outdoor activity. She wants to do a spiritual activity. She wants to do the Bali swing, right? If you've been anywhere on Instagram, I'm sure you've seen people swinging in Bali, right? She wants to do the Bali swing. So these are must-haves. So as I'm building out the itinerary, I don't have to look everywhere. I just have to look for these things and put them on the itinerary. I don't have to look and see what are the top 12 things that people are doing in Bali, right? What are the top 10 things that are must-dos in Bali? No, I need to go find the things that are must-haves for us, right? That's what's most important. And that's what's going to help me from overthinking on this trip. The next question is, and I hope I can see that. I'm trying to tilt it. Yeah. What are my blockers, right? Now, the blockers are the most important piece, because the blockers are the reason why it is July and we are just now planning the trip for September, October. Okay. The blockers are going to be the thoughts, the feelings, and the obstacles in your actual life. It's going to be, it's not possible for me to go. I don't know where I'm going to get the money from, right? I don't think it's a good idea for me to spend this money on this trip, right? Those are going to be the blockers. They're going to be, I don't know who's going to watch my kids. I don't know, if I'm going to be able to take a flight or be away for this long. I have these other responsibilities. All of these are life obstacles. All of these are blockers that stop you from even taking action, because they're all just in your mind. They keep you in procrastination and avoidance. So if you can get them out of your mind and get them on paper, then you can address them one by one. One of the things that I share with my clients is, don't just be a problem identifier, be a problem solver, right? It's very easy for your brain to identify all the problems, because that is your brain's job. Your brain's job is to identify all of the problems, all of the reasons that you shouldn't do something, because it wants to keep you safe and it wants to keep you in your comfort zone. So you just need to get the problems out of your head, write them down, and address them one by one and solve them one by one, all the way to the end, right? So those are the 3 questions. These 3 questions have helped me over and over and over again plan trips for groups, plan trips for myself, plan trips for my family. And at this point, it's helping me plan this trip to Bali. Okay. So before I go on, I want you to let me know in the comments, right? I want you to let me know in the comments, what are some of the thoughts? What are some of the feelings? What are some of the problems or the obstacles that come up or that are coming up for you right now as you're trying to plan the trip that you want to take, right? I want to know what they are. Asking yourself these 3 questions is going to allow you to get to the root of the problem. We're trying to get to the root of the thing, right? It's going to give you clarity immediately. One of the biggest problems that you run into when you're overthinking is a lack of clarity, right? You don't know what to do because you have all these questions in your mind, all these options and things to do and decide. This is going to give you clarity, right? Immediately. And it's going to help you stop overthinking and start just making decisions, right? Just think, right? I don't want you to overthink. I want you to just think, make a decision, and then execute on that decision, right? So this is what I did. I said, boom, she wants to do the Bali swing. She wants it to be some eat, pray, love, and she wants to be spiritual, right? These are some of the must-haves, right? So let me go find who got the Bali swing, how much the Bali swing costs, and who can we do it with, right? Boom, it's on the itinerary. All right, the next thing, what are some spiritual things to do in the 2 places we're going to, Ubud and Kuta, right? The first place is Ubud. Like, what are the spiritual things in Ubud? Okay, is this. As I'm choosing through them, which ones are going to make her feel spiritual, which ones align with eat, pray, love, which ones are also going to make us feel connected as a group. That's the one we need to do, right? It's going to make your planning go fast, right? You don't got time to be pity-patting. I'm from the South, y'all. That is like a term from the South. Ain't no pity-patting, girl. We got stuff to do, right? And it really allowed me to get out of that space of just unclarity, right? You just want to get clear and you want to get moving, right? So I sent these questions to my BFF, got the answers from her. It allowed me to really just start taking action immediately on this trip, right? And now I know if I put these things in the itinerary, she gonna have a great trip. But me being who I am, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit more on there, right? We're going some tip on top of the tip, right? We want to just sprinkle a little bit more on there to make it the trip of a lifetime for her, right? But the baseline is done, right? So doing this helped me to go from procrastination, avoidance, stress, feeling bad, feeling sad, feeling guilty because I'm like, how come I can't get through this? To implementing this strategy and being able to plan 5 days of a 10-day trip in 90 minutes. Done. Ubud is done. Now I just got to move on to Kuta. So can you imagine planning a 10-day trip in, let's say 4 hours? Not at most, maybe 3 hours, right? 3 hours, a 10-day trip in 3 hours. That's what this is going to help you do. So I really suggest that you implement it and see how it works for you. Now, the other thing that I decided, right, because as I was going through those questions for her, I realized that one of the biggest blockers for both of us was time, right? It was like, we are travel planners. We love to plan stuff. And the reason why we love to get into it is because we want to have a specific experience. We don't usually use travel agents, but for this trip, we are going to use a travel agent. And this is why. One, using a travel agent is going to allow us to take out the booking piece, right? We don't have to find the vendors. We don't have to find who's the cheapest. When you don't have the time, just leverage and outsource it, right? Even though I can do it, doesn't mean I need to do it for this trip. I can do it for all other trips. I just did it for my trip in Belize, right? In April. So we're not going to do it for this trip. But that's going to remove the stress off her plate, my plate. The travel agent is just going to allow us to book through her. She got a cheaper rates anyway, right? At this point, we don't have a lot of time. So it also is going to give us access to a cheaper rate with less time. So that's also something that really cleared up all of the stress that we had by asking those questions. Okay. So that's it. That's all, y'all. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope this video also is helping you to take the over out of overthinking and just get to planning your trip with ease. If you don't already have a proven method or a proven strategy to be able to consistently take the trips that you want to take, even when life is life, right? Because honey, life is life for us right now. There's a link in the description that you can click on to be able to book a call with me so we can talk about how we can work together on removing the life obstacles so you can make your dreams of Black travel a reality. If you love this video, then I know that you are one of my people. So make sure you like the video and subscribe to this channel so that you can have more opportunity to learn more about Black travel and transforming your life through travel. Also, if you want to see more of me, doing all the things that I need to do, figuring out ways to make travel happen in my life, make sure you go follow me on Instagram at International Inez. So until we meet again, stay tripping.